bright. Today is bright and sunny, and I'm gonna just, yeah, that's better. Bright and sunny. One of the coolest, chilliest mornings so far. These brutal January temperatures of +2 degrees Canadian. And it dropped down to -1 Canadian last night. And therefore, you know, I see like frost on the grass and even on some of the rooftop shingles and on the cars and stuff. So for Victoria, that's actually cold. So anyway, enough about the weather. I am finally starting to feel better. So basically it was 6 days flat on my back with the flu, and then it's been 2 weeks of just feeling like exhausted and crappy and congested still, like clearing out the congestion. So this was a long one, and so I recorded a little bit as I could about the experience of being sick while living RV life without heat. Because up until a week ago, I couldn't run my furnace. That's a whole other, we'll get into the diagnostics of that. I'll make a video about that because it's actually pretty cool, but I really didn't want to get that sick when it was winter and not have any heat. However, we got through it. We survived. That's what my aunt Myrtle used to say. She was from Regina, Saskatchewan. My mother's auntie. And yeah, she would describe the most horrific scenes. And then the barn burned down and there was an accident and he lost his limb below the knee. And she'd say, however, we got through it. We survived. Oh my God, that's my son texting. Because he's arriving. Oh my God. He's texting me from the plane. Anyway, he's arriving today. I'm beyond excited. Without further ado, here's how life is sick in the winter with no heat.
Here's a time when it's really not awesome to be doing full-time RV boondocking. It's when you get the flu. I have been flat on my back for 5 days. This is day 6, and even today I managed to get out for a shower, and I noticed my arms were getting sore and tired even from washing my hair. Like, that's like being in bed for 5 days. Like, that's how much strength I started to lose, and I've been quite lightheaded. So I'm now at a place doing some laundry and some post-flu cleanup. And I just find it interesting because, you know, I'm in a parking lot at a laundromat I don't normally go to, sort of letting it all hang out. And here's a man approaching. Anyway, letting it all hang out. Something you don't normally do when you live a normal life. But, oh, the girls are being friendly. That's
How old are they?
They're about 19 months.
Oh, still puppies then.
Yeah.
Puppies, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take care.
You too. Anyway, that was a pleasant surprise, you know, not to get in any way hassled. But this neighborhood, you get a little more, you get some sketch. And I guess the nice thing about that is that when it comes to sketch, people think. A lot of people, especially, you know, people with nice homes. No, you're bringing the hair in. She's bringing the hair back in because it's caught on the leash. I end up having to redo what I did if they come in prematurely. Just trying to reduce the sand, the hair, the debris. Trying to dry out the cushions too on the couch, because now that they've basically destroyed the cushions from all the mud and wet and stuff, a couple of them started to fall apart. Now they insist on digging through all the covers that I put on the couch direct to the couch cushions. So we have a new problem. And a new, what's the word for when you just throw up your arms and go, oh well, living with dogs. Anyway, having the flu has sucked. I don't have heat right now, but it's fortunate that here it has been above freezing, so not a huge problem at all. I've kept my windows cracked open a bit to just kind of exchange the air. No, go. Damn dogs keep trying to come back in before I gotta go out there, clean all the excess debris off the leashes, and then I can bring them back in. I did some cleaning on day 2, I think. I felt off on Friday, so I guess that's really day 1. Day 2, Saturday, I was like, oh man, I'm sick. So I didn't go to see my friend who's got a really bad lung condition, and thank God for that. Because the young folks that I work with, in they're 30 years old, they were flat on their backs for 5 days plus. One of the guys came back 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. He came back on day 7 and he left early from work. So my feeling is, don't come to work if you don't absolutely have to. And but someone did. And I mean, then you just think of all the people, if I had just not really thought it through and gone to my friend's place, then I would have been in the most contagious period of influenza, and my friend who's on home oxygen could very much be in a critical situation right now. But I was like, yeah, no way. So flu is supposed to be contagious for up to 7 days, with it being most contagious, sort of the day of coming, you think you're coming down with it, to the first 3 days then of symptoms, so about 4 days of really bad, and then, but up to 7. So I'm at I guess I'm on day 7 now, but what I'm coughing isn't clear yet, so I'm still not 100% sure. So I won't be going near anybody with a vulnerability, that's for sure. And otherwise really limiting my exposure to the public or anybody. Anyway, in terms of the glam of the lifestyle, it was nice spending a couple of days in bed looking out the window at the ocean, because I spent the first couple of days at the beach just so that I could try and take the dogs out still, more than just on a quick leash, for a quick pee. So I took Advil in order to do that. I took Advil and I waited an hour, and then that allowed me to get out for about half an hour. But I quit doing that Tuesday. And no, settle down. Settle down. Settle down. Settle down. You bark at the silliest things, like fire hydrants. Why don't you bark at scary people wearing ski masks? Anyway, so I really don't have energy to be doing this, but I thought, there's real life, flat on your back, in bed. There's a dent in my mattress now. Really need to replace it. No, you stay out there. Anyway, I'm going to just give you a quick view of what it looks like when you're letting your whole life just all hang out, you know? So like, you got basically a parking lot, and I was drying my cushions because there was a bit of sun, and I was shaking the dirt and sweeping the dirt off of my doormats, preparing the couch laundry, or the dog laundry, and the dog's here, and I had my mat. And we got the girls here. And I had my mat hanging over the fence there. The main indoor winter doormat. There's the dog destruction of the couch, which I intend to get fixed this summer. And yeah, tore the couch apart. I'm actually gonna get new cushions for it. Waterproof. Laundry's done. And my energy held up. Dishes still need to be done, but I got the stove clean, and I've almost got it all. I almost have Humpty Dumpty put back together. The dogs are back to bed, and I got clean blankets that I'll be able to spread out once they're out of the way. Yeah, so having influenza, a rather nasty strain of it, was unfun. Living without heat and running water and all of that, because I may have gargled with salt water if I could just turn on the tap and have hot water. But having to get up, boil water, basically when I was that sick, I made tea, a massive amount of tea, once a day. And I put it in my glass bottle with electrolytes, lemon, apple cider vinegar, clove, because clove is very good for purifying. And basically that's what I drank. So yeah, the not so glamorous side. I've seen the odd video where people describe that, you know, this lifestyle really sucks when you're sick. But then again, the flu is never fun. And I was fortunate that I could park near, you know, my work or near my daughter, and that I had people that were willing to help me if I needed help. And at one point, I thought I was going to have to go into the clinic because I was having really trouble breathing, and I thought I was going to need, like, you know, inhalers. But then, phew, it plateaued that day, and then the next day I was slightly better. Yeah, I plateaued yesterday. Today, I'm quite a bit better, but I basically have like what you would be like a normal unpleasant cold is what I have now, the symptoms of. But it's looking like we're in the clear. Touch wood. Yes, Rosie, we touch wood. And I discovered that the dogs, Sadie has worms. So, you know, I'm out this morning, and then I look down and it's like, oh my God. Sadie, they eat everything in sight. On the beach, they drink. I fill the bowl in the morning. I try to get them to drink. And they want to drink from the muddiest, dirtiest puddles ever. So, yeah. So that'll be a fun, probably almost $400 now. So that's the other unfun thing, you know, is these sudden expenses. But fortunately, I'd saved up a bit of money to get through the, you know, work being closed at Christmas. So I still have a little bit left, just enough maybe to cover the vet bill. So for Canada, it's not really wintry here. it doesn't get cold like the rest of Canada. It's above zero. It's 8 degrees Canadian, and that's the temperature range it's been throughout me having this flu. And of course, the biggest challenge when you're living in an RV and you don't have heat, like a proper heat source. So right now my battery is insufficient and there's something going on with my furnace. So I can't just reach over from bed and flip the heat on anymore. So the biggest challenge is especially when you're sick, is how to keep warm. You know, sweating all the time, and then the danger is I'm wet. Right? And then when you're wet, if you get cold, that's not good. So I was really worried about getting a chill and having it move more into my chest than it already did. And it was so painful coughing. I thought I was worried. Bronchitis, I was thinking yes. And I was worried about pneumonia because it was one side of my whole chest that really hurt when I coughed. So the way I kept warm, basically, I slept with my toque on a lot of the time, and a scarf, trying to keep my neck warm. And I also slept always in one jacket, but often even have my coat on. Stop it, Rosie! Stop it! You can't dig through the couch cushion. It just doesn't work that way. Anyway, sorry for that distraction. So yeah, the biggest challenge is keeping warm properly, and especially with all the sweats, you know, of being sick. And that's how I did it. Basically, a lot of layers, almost as if I was walking outside in colder weather, even than what we had. So layering up, toque, scarf, jacket, you know, warm pajamas, lots of blankets, and yeah, 5 days in bed, just basically, and trying to keep hydrated, you know, when that affected and that exhausted and just weak. So yeah, keeping hydrated was probably the second biggest challenge after keeping warm enough to not get sicker and sicker. I was worried about that. Yeah, I was actually worried about having the bad flu or COVID while having no heat and living in the RV. But I mean, I'm not totally better yet, but touch wood, it looks like I've survived. It's actually a little bit surreal being back in the world. And there's a weird reflection in the camera that I can't place. And that's a little surreal too. Can you see that? Can you see that? Is that for real? That one? Oh, here? Where am I pointing? That's weird. I can see like two of me. I wonder if that's on the video. Is there part of me trapped in a parallel dimension? Anyway, it's a bit surreal after 5 days of flu to be on my way back. I knew a shower would help. What an ordeal. Then doing the laundry, all that sweating. Anyway, I feel on the road to human. I think if I get sleep tonight, I might even be able to function as a somewhat normal human being tomorrow. I may even make it into work, at least for part of the day. So that's my goal. Right, Sadie? Sadie, are you in the background? Have I lost my mind? What's going on? I went to the deli and I picked up stuff on special. Chicken wings, 50% off. And got some sushi. And well, they're not celebrating, but I'm celebrating feeling remotely normal. So I got my special, all my lights are on. All my little string lights are on tonight which I don't normally do because I don't really need all this light, but I feel festive just by feeling remotely normal. I'm even still like under the weather, but so much better, and I'm so grateful for that. Just feeling remotely normal. Good night. Thanks, everybody. See you soon. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Please join me. I'd love to share this life journey with you, and I'd be happy to follow your journey as well if you're also doing this YouTube thing. Anyway, don't mind my voice. I don't normally sound like this. Good night, and bless you all.